Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series for the year of 1982. We are currently on the November 20th edition, so just about 5 or 6 weeks away from the end of 1982. It's been a heck of a year if you've been along for the ride, but we will be there momentarily. Anyway, this is the November 20th edition. We move into a tag team opener with Bugsy McGraw and Al Madrill versus Wild Bill Irwin and Checkmate. This is a relatively basic match, as is to be expected, as Madrill and Bugsy seem to team quite a bit, but never really gain traction towards championship matches, but also never gain traction away from them either. Irwin, of course, longtime Texas champion, multi-year in the 70s and early 80s, and several months in 1982, but not having as much success here as he might like. He moves forward and toward the opportunity to win this tag team match. Madrill and Bugsy seem to be on the same page. Not quite sure, other than to fill time, what the point of their tag team is. But Bugsy willing to stroll around, strut around, and do whatever he needs to do to get an advantage. He and Irwin square off early, and Bugsy, in fact, does out-wrestle the Cowboy for the first several minutes. And then Madrill makes his way in, as does the Checkmate, away from wearing the tiger mask style mask, complete with cat ears. Actually, no, he is not. Thought he was at this point, but he in fact is not. He takes the leg and gets a lot of holds forward. Interesting styles clash with Madrill and Checkmate here. Obviously, Checkmate likes to keep things more on the mat, more a European catch style. Punch and kick from Madrill is obviously very different than that. But when Wild Bill comes back in, we're back to the punch kick attack style that Madrill is more accustomed and used to. Checkmate comes back in and tries to get his advantage as best he can. And they cut off the ring on him for quite a bit. Match goes quite a while, referee having difficulty keeping all of the damage under control. Madrill goes to the outside, gets beat up, and his own partner actually sends him back into the ring. Madrill, though, never takes a backward step, and we see that he is, in fact, planted with a body slam. The attempted running knee drop by Bill Irwin does not pay off, and we see the use of the figure 4 leg lock by Madrill. Madrill near the ropes, does not use them as an offensive weapon, at least in the beginning. However, does more towards the end. Bugsy McGraw makes his way in to cut off the Checkmate, and Irwin in quite a bit. King Kong Bundy, who may not be part of H&H any longer, however, is loyal to his partner, makes his way in to try and create the distraction. The referee having difficulty ending that scenario, but does in fact do so, and the heels with your victory here. Then we move to Destroyer number 2, who is very lean, to say the very least, against David Von Erich here. Decent little match, although nothing to write home about. Obviously, the goal being to reestablish David in the territory. Not that they haven't done so sufficiently, but for folks who were gone for a good part of the year, David had a several-month-long sojourn down to Florida, where he actually was a heel holding the Southern Championship, and I believe the Tag Championships down there as well. David back home, and obviously not a heel by any stretch of the imagination, using very basic moves, headlock takeovers and arm bars and the like, wanting to get his match done with as quickly as possible, but obviously the fans are there to see Von Erichs, and if they can see them stretched out and doing as much damage as possible, they are happier with that by far. And so we then see that David does gain a victory. David gains his victory by the ropes as there is a, I guess, second rope knee drop, actually a couple of them by David, who manages to hit some of those, and then a diving elbow for the victory. Not your most creative victory, also not your most succinct one either, as it looks like David might have been a little out to lunch in this particular matchup, but it is what it is. We move into a semi-main event type situation. Well, not quite, but the Freebirds against Magic Dragon and Great Kabuki. This is something the Freebirds had wanted for a while. Fans still solidly behind the Birds, not suspecting a thing, nor should they, as the Birds have been extremely friendly to the fans and useful there. Kerry Von Erich is also up in this program, but there is no fear in Terry Gordy. He is willing to stand and trade with Kabuki and the Magic Dragon. Michael Hayes comes in. He's a little more catch-style wrestling or traditional-style wrestling. Of course, Kabuki out there means Gary Hart isn't too far behind. Terry Gordy in, and his strikes are solid, although safe. And I think that's one thing that big men have lost today is the solid, safe strike style. Either they strike too strong or they don't strike strong enough. Finding that right balance is right. Several tag-offs by the Freebirds. Gordy and Hayes work very well together. Hayes and Gordy look to have the match under control several times, but Kabuki specifically, who is on the receiving end of most of the punishment for the last little while, not willing to surrender, nor get in a pinning combination. Unfortunately for Gordy, he backs his opponent into his own corner, thereby bringing Magic Dragon back in as the legal combatant. I almost said lethal combatant, but he might as well have been. Several more minutes here of Kabuki and Dragon going after Gordy with nerve holds and submissions. Gordy is on the receiving end of the traditionalized approach to things that includes but is not limited to the knee drop, which usually leads to a victory for the Freebirds, and it does here. So there are many things that go in the direction. Hussein not happy with that at all, obviously, to be expected, but then we move to a King Kong Bundy, I guess, bounty check and all of that, and he talks about being the one to, in fact, sell the information to Fritz Von Erich for $5,000. We mentioned that last week, but here's the interview to prove it. He basically says that he had been out of work because he was no longer affiliated with Hart and Hussein Incorporated, and saw an opportunity to make some money, did so, gave Fritz what he needed because Gary Hart had sent Bundy to another territory to pick up the check from Flair, and that Bundy no longer willing to take a backward step for that. Then we see Kerry Von Erich in a short-ish match. We've only got about 5 minutes left in the program, so short-ish match with Killer Tim Brooks, and obviously Kerry is fired up because of the bounty, fired up because of being mistreated, misused, and Kerry doesn't even get out of his jacket before the brawl starts. Hard punches, and then we see the claw from Kerry. Kerry obviously does not want to lose any matches before his championship match in about a month's time. Very slow, methodical match. Carrie does get your victory, though, including the use of the claw and the discus punch before closing the program. And a sunset flip is the final maneuver of the contest, giving Carrie the victory. But Brooks not happy, but has to admit that he fell to the better man on that day. That is your close for the 11/20/82 version of World Class. We will be back with more. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.